Hey folks, Dave Brown here with the New Populist. Thank you again for joining me. So, we have a mini civil war going on in MAGA world between Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy and some MAGA supporters over this issue of the H1B visa program, which brings in educated foreigners at the request of U.S. companies to fill positions that these U.S. companies say they can't fill with American-born workers. Now, a lot of people in MAGA world are saying this is BS. There are tons of American workers looking for jobs who are qualified, whereas Elon Musk says, well, we need to gather talent from all around the world to make America great. And Vivek says that the issue is there is the decline in the American culture where there are less qualified Americans who don't work as hard as foreign-born workers or first-generation immigrants. So let's go to a tweet by Vivek, and this is where it all started at, where he's explaining this. And it's a fairly lengthy tweet, so I'll just read the first two paragraphs because that grasps what he's talking about. And he says this: the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the C word, culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we really are, or if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. And he goes on to explain how Americans, from the time we're small children, we are sort of sucked into pop culture and watching TV and playing video games rather than focusing on education. And there is truth to that. Our culture definitely isn't as stringent on education as, say, the Chinese or the Indian culture. I know, for example, in China, they have TikTok like we have in the United States, but the state actually puts limitations on how much you can use TikTok. And they actually channel certain types of material towards children that's educational. So the Chinese government recognizes the danger of having way too much entertainment that distracts people away from education and helping to build the country up through that education. So there is truth to what Vivek is saying. However, the issue here is optics. And coming from a guy like Vivek who, wants to be a politician or was a politician, who's very smart, I'm surprised he didn't see this when he sent out this post on X that he was making Americans look bad in a way that's not constructive. I'll give you an analogy, and this is not a perfect analogy, but I think it works well enough. Imagine you're a married man, middle-aged, been married for 20 years, and your wife, you love her, but, it's been a while, the kids are older, and perhaps, she's, not in quite as good a shape as you would, prefer her to be. So if you're sitting there one day on the couch with her, would you say this: hon, the reason I look at other women is because lately you're just not really working out hard enough. I still love you. You're still pretty, but your effort's not there anymore. What's going to happen next? Well, you're going to get punched in the face, and rightfully so. So it's not that the husband is wrong per se. It's how you approach an issue. You might instead say, hon, I would love to spend more time with you. Maybe we could go on walks every morning for 20 minutes so we could get some exercise and be healthier so we can live longer for each other. You say it that way, you might get a positive response. But if you say, you're lazy and that's why we're hiring foreigners, well, people, whether you're wrong or you're right, are going to be a little pissy at you. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm just surprised that Vivek didn't understand or realize how optically this was really bad. And the timing wasn't great either. The day after Christmas, people are relaxed. They're in that holiday mindset. They just spent a lot of money on Christmas presents. And now the day after Christmas, they go on X and they see you saying, hey, you guys are all lazy pieces of garbage. Step your game up. This is why we're hiring foreigners. Not a good look. So, again, bad optics. And the other thing, too, is this issue with H1B visas was an issue, but it wasn't a big issue. We only actually give out, I think according to the government, around 65,000 visas a year, which compared to legal immigration is not much. Legal immigration is about 2.6 million a year. So this is a drop in the bucket. So it wasn't a really big issue until he comes out and says this. Elon jumps in as well, and they made it a much bigger issue than it needed to be. So I think that it was badly played by both of them. Now, speaking of Elon Musk, he said this. He had a couple of tweets that were interesting, to say the least. The first one, he says, it comes down to this. Do you want America to win or do you want America to lose? If you force the world's best talent to play for the other side, America will lose. End of story. Now, I don't quite get that. Do other countries have the right to have talented individuals help build their countries? Does India have the right to have their engineers stay in their country and make India great? Or China or Japan or Venezuela or anybody? So this zero-sum game of either they're here or we lose, I don't understand that. I think that's way too antagonistic to the rest of the world. And us winning, us being successful, shouldn't be based upon the import of foreign labor or foreign intellectuals. We have enough people here to do that ourselves. So I disagree with his premise that we have to suck up all the world's talent or else we lose. I don't think that's true. And I don't think that's a good attitude to treat the rest of the world who they have a right to build their own countries up, not just America's. I didn't like that tweet. And this one is even worse. He sent out. He said, the reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies that made America strong, is because of H1B. Take a big step back and bleep yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly comprehend. Now, rule number one in politics, if you're a powerful person, the richest man in the world, you never punch down at people. It is a terrible look, and it makes you look like a tyrant when you do that. You punch up. You go after the powerful, the people who can, control your life. You don't punch down at the little people and then say you will go to war on an issue like you cannot possibly comprehend, which is pretty threatening. So Elon, as smart as he is a little Aspergery at times. And in this case, I think he went way too far, and he's picking a fight with the wrong people. He's picking a fight with the MAGA world, your average person who is struggling. He's not picking a fight with politicians and other large, business owners. He's going after the little guy. And again, that is terrible optics, and that's the kind of stuff that will backfire on him if he's not careful. I wonder what Trump thinks about all of this. One thing Trump never does, if you've noticed, he never punches down at the little guy. He punches out fellow politicians, world leaders, people we don't like, people with power who've abused their power and hurt us. That's who he punches at, not at the little guy. And, well, I guess there's a reason why Trump is president and not Vivek, and obviously Elon can't be president because he was not born in the United States. So I think this is a unforced error by both Vivek and Elon. And again, it's not about whether or not Vivek had a point. I think he does have a point. I do think we need more focus on, academics in the United States. But it's how you go about it. It's how you present it that matters. And this post on X, he failed miserably. And if he wants to be president in the future, you better figure that out. Because that kind of stuff, if he can't figure out optics, he's not going to go very far. So we'll see how this all sort of ends up. There is the liberals right now who are salivating, seeing this rift between Musk and Vivek and Trump supporters. And of course, they're hoping to drive a rift between them and Trump as well. So they're exploiting it. So we have to sort of wait and see how Trump responds to this. And hopefully Trump calmly, quietly, privately says, hey guys, calm down. We haven't even gone to office yet. And you're here on X fighting amongst MAGA supporters and bring all this negative attention. Pipe down, we'll get things figured out, but don't go online and be antagonistic to my supporters, for Christ's sake. So hopefully Trump settles them down and they get their egos under control. But we'll just have to wait and see. Well, that is it for now. If you're new to the channel, like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.